Hey everybody, welcome. So we're going to talk about the new Honda. Let's see. Let me get all set up here first. Okay, so here's the deal. Oh. So Honda yesterday, going along with the, I think, Dying AIM show, which is a motorcycle industry show in Ohio, launched or presented that there is a new Honda African Twin model. And again, I mean, we're kind of, I guess we're kind of bummed that it's not a XR650R EFI model. But this is what it is. And this is what Honda is going to feed us. I got some comments from you guys yesterday saying that they always seem to give us what we don't want. However, I think I'm changing because starting tomorrow is going to be the High Sierra Diaries on BMW GSs, and I have tried the GSs a few years back when they were first introduced, but I didn't really get to ride them much, and I kind of liked it. It was a different experience. We got to go off-road and really kind of put them to the test. And maybe looking at this new CRF1100L, which was kind of shocking they called it a CRF. Maybe because it says here the subframe and the swing arm was based off the CRF450, which is cool. But I am kind of, I guess they're working on me, and I'm slowly starting to change my mind. Now, as soon as I can get my hands on one of these, I will, of course, go ride it. I haven't ridden the African Twin of last year. I think that's a 1250. Mainly because it's just too big and I'm not interested in that. But then again, I rode the BMW 1250 GS and that was fun. But yeah, let me see here. What's going on here with this stupid thing? Let's see here. Yeah, so yeah, Taylor, look at, I spent the last 4 years fighting the fight, and I think I'm slowly coming around to it's just accepting that they're just not going to make another 650. Now, it was funny because I started clipping out images of what they have. They have a CRF 450L, a CRF 450X. Then they have a XR 650L they still make. And then it immediately jumps up to now this 1100. And I'm just looking at that from a catalog standpoint of like, this is what we're offering. And it's like, I look at that XR 650L and I'm just like, what is going on with that? Who made that decision to continue to still make that model after all these years? I just would love to sit down with the heads in Japan and just get their thinking on that. Speaking of, if you guys are interested, you XR650R owners, I'm working on another special with LA Sleeve and offering maybe some top end stuff, so at a discount. Follow me on Instagram or here. I'll post it up on YouTube as well. But let's go over this. Let's go down the meat. Let's go over the meat and bones. So it okay. So it's basically they're slimming it up and making it lighter. New frame, subframe. And the way I'm reading this, I think they're eliminating the old version. This is the new single. I'm not sure if they have an 1100 and the 1200. But the way I read this is they are eliminating that, and they put this thing on a diet, and they're giving it more power, 6% more power, and CRF1100 inspired swing arm and subframe. Now it's bumped up to 1084 cc's, giving it 101 horsepower, 105 peak torque. New cylinder head, valve timing, lift, throttle body, and exhaust. And I watched their promo video, and it looked like they wanted to make sure we all know that it has a racing note. Meaning when you're riding it, it'll sound like it's a race bike. That kind of triggered me there too. It's like, hey guys, are you guys working backwards to eventually making a 650? So anyways, let's continue. Well, here's this exhaust control valve for improved low RPM sound and high RPM performance. That's some good marketing limbo right there. Let's see what else here. Now the electronics looks like they've upped it, and based on the screenshots, I've kind of I was looking at their layout, and it kind of looks really kind of cool the way they're laying it out. To be honest, the BMW electronic board on the dash there, I didn't really like the layout. It was kind of hard to get to certain things, and then I felt as I'm riding, you dug so deep down into the hole that you kind of lost where you were. But this Honda one looks like it's very easy to use, almost like an iPhone, where it has just like these big images. But again, I'll have to wait until I kind of get my hands on it. But let's see what else here. IMU managed intervention levels. I don't know what that is. Off-road joins the default riding modes. So you got an off-road mode, tour, urban, and gravel. Okay. 2 user modes allow for complete riding mode customization. That's kind of cool. So let's say that your son is riding it. You can set the bike up for him, and then when you get on it, you have another set of things. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe BMW has that, but that's something that could be done. And then, or you just set it up for like, hey, I'm going to the trails today, and then, the next day you're just going to do mainly fire roads. You can kind of set it up that way. Tour mode employs the highest level of power for touring, loaded with pinion and luggage. Urban suits wide-ranging riding requirements and uses mid-level power and engine braking with active on-road cornering ABS. Gravel delivers the lowest level of power and engine braking. Cornering ABS is active with an off-road setting. In this setting, the rear brake ABS cannot be switched off. So in gravel, you can't turn off ABS. I don't know if I like that. I hate that ABS for the life of me. These next diaries that'll launch tomorrow, I really was turning that off most of the time because it's just you forget, you know. Off-road uses mid-level power and the lowest amount of braking, engine braking, and then has cornering ABS active with an off-road setting. The rear brake ABS can be switched off. I don't know if I like that either, because I kind of just don't want it on either front or back. But maybe there's some, maybe you guys can let me know in the comments below on why this ABS has got to intrude on, on these bikes. And let's see what else. Let's see if I can find a price. Let's see if they have a price on here. African twin pricing. Here we go. It's available in March 2020. Oof. Man, these guys have got to kind of start doing what Apple does. And, when the bike's ready, then do your media. But I don't know. I think they've gotten in the mode of well, we better let everybody know when it comes out in a year so they don't spend money on other models. Okay, so before destination fee, the 2020 African's twin starts at $14,399, while the African Twin Adventure, I guess probably another model, $17,199, and for DCT, add $800 on both of those. And I'm guessing each one of those you're going to get something more than the other. So, yeah. What does that look like here? Yeah, Eric. Yeah, they are taking a different approach, Eric. You're right. And, they might have an end game too, and maybe that's something they can't wait for us to, maybe they can't wait to, they don't want to show us the end game. Maybe there is something coming down the line. I seriously thought it was going to be an 800 or an 850 to go against this GS 850 and the new KTM 750. However, with the 1100, maybe there is an XR 650 or 700 coming. Maybe they're gonna do that. Because I could tell you right now, there's probably 700 people with these XRs that follow me, and all you guys out there are constantly, sending me emails and DMs. I get XR 650 porn from you guys, and I get it all the time. And it's I know for a fact that if they made one, and so what? If it's 10 grand, I'm telling you, I mean, eventually these 650s, they're going to stop making parts. I know people who make parts for these bikes for the last 20, 30 years, and they eventually just void the part number because people don't buy enough of them. So it's going to happen, and I just don't know how fast or whatever. I mean, the 650 has lasted a long time, and maybe it will stay around for a lot longer just because of the L, So, let's see here. Let's go down some of the stuff. What was the race note I heard? Yeah, so the race note has to do with, they had that in their video, and I could tell audio wise they were trying to bump it up it kind of sounded like a street bike. So like whoop whoop, and the guy's going through the desert. So that's something that, again, for marketing, I'm a marketing guy, so it's like you want to get the customers with sight, sound, um, better than the competitors. Mark, Honda lost their way years ago. KTM has to fill the void they left. Yeah, you're right. I mean, KTM is they're just killing it. They're number one right now. They sell the most bikes in North America, and that's that. Same electronics as the African Twin. No, they've changed it. They've changed a new layout. Yamaha T7 has defeatable ABS with a single button, zero electronics, throttle control. Yeah, I mean, but again, that T7 is also another like 5 year. They released it 3 years ago, and I still haven't seen one where I can go sit on it. I actually like the look of that T7. It looks more where I can stand up and wheelie over stuff instead of like the old African Twin. Last year's model has this huge tank, and it's like this, and that's my big gripe is I wish these bikes, God, what pisses me off is when they release these bikes, they send these marketing pictures out of guys jumping fucking dunes and jumping and like getting air on them, and they don't do that. I mean, I rode this 1200 GS, and you can't do that. I mean, if you do that, you are going to wreck that bike, that $20,000 bike. They just can't take that. But you think that the rider who's doing that is like, man, shave some weight, make something in the 800cc range, and make this thing fly, So one thing about the 650 is like, it's a pig, yeah, but you can jump that thing and you can skip whoops, and you can wheelie over rocks and dogs and cactus and whatever else. So, yeah, Taylor, they ain't cheap. Yeah, these bikes are going to be expensive because they have more electronics on them, and that's just the way this whole thing is rolling. Do I think there's any possibility of a 450 rally from Honda? I don't know. I think that for me, I wouldn't buy a 450 rally, mainly because I think that's just a little too small to put a gigantic gas tank on it. I would buy a 650 rally. How about that? I'd buy one of those. Wes, that 250 rally though, I haven't ridden one, but I look at that and I have told people that I think that could be the best Baja bike that nobody really knows about. But I haven't ridden one yet. Yeah, it's probably gutless, but you know what? It's probably like the XR400, which is a good little nimble, small little travel bike for like places like Baja and stuff. But here in the States, I don't see using that, just because things are so spread out and far apart, Taylor, 697.1 fills the 650 gap nicely. Long service intervals, Honda has a target in that bike. Just build a better 690 701. Yeah, you're right. I have my famous video with 20,000 views where I slammed the 701, and I actually think that bike could be better. The issue with that bike globally, it's a street bike. They sell more of those in Europe and in Asia as a on-road bike, and it doesn't make sense to reconstruct that bike into more dirt friendly. It's just too road friendly in my opinion, but it has possibilities. I mean, it could be done with maybe shaving weight off of it, making it a little lighter, and it's just very stink buggish, the way it sits. Most of the weight is on the front, so and you know, it kind of, to be honest, right now I'm kind of like trying to think back because that was a couple years ago when I rode that 701. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's I was talking to a couple of you guys on the DMs yesterday on Instagram, and I'm excited to try it. I actually, as I was looking at it, and you know, again, because I've ridden last week, I rode those GS BMWs for a week. Me and Hacienda Gabe, and man, I mean, I love that 850. I'm kind of giving you guys like a preview of what's coming down the pipe, but I'll give a review on those bikes as well. But that GS 850 was an amazing motorcycle, and I felt if I could just get a little bit more travel out of that bike, that it's close. It's close to being, you know, 650 worthy. So Anthony, the Husky 501. Okay, so yeah, I've you've seen that I put a lot of time on that KTM 500 EXC, and by the way, I'm launching that, the famous, you guys have, it's probably the most asked about video, the KTM 500 versus the 450L. I'm releasing that video next Monday, and I share my thoughts of what bike I liked best, but that's coming Monday. And no, I have not ridden the 501. It kind of wasn't on my radar, but if I do get a chance, I'll jump on that. Yeah, you can, yeah, the 701 you can get parts for, Mark. You're right. I mean, look, I mean, a lot of people took that video wrong, but I mean, it's a good bike. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I actually, Fire Freddy wants one, or I thought he wanted one. He actually wants the 790. But then there's that, you know, like, do you get the 790 instead of the 690? I think I would, because I don't know, I like I look better. And I don't know any of the tech specs of that, of the 790 compared to the 690. But KTM's, that's real close in models. So Wes, the weight on the 850, it wasn't bad. It felt like the 690 or the 701. It felt like that. But it had a lot more cool stuff to it. It kind of had all these ride modes. You can adjust suspension. And the one thing I did like about that GS 850 was over the 1250 was because I like to stand when I ride. I felt more at home standing up on that bike and maneuvering it in tight spots. The 1250 felt like that African Twin. The tank was just bigger. It was big up front, and I felt like I just felt I had a lot of stuff going on in front of me. And that bike was more comfortable sitting down on than standing up, where the 850, you can stand on it and you could look above and see stuff, and it was a lot nicer. The Aurora Rally 701, search that later, badass kit, makes the 697 a killer lightweight. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. So let's look at one more thing before I go here. I wanted to look at let's see here. You know what? Let me try to do something. We're gonna see if we can watch this video together. Yeah, let's do that. How's that? Let's see what this video looks like. You know what? Let me try to do something. We're gonna see if we can watch this video together. See how the guy's standing? Oh yeah, see that? You're getting me all fired up. See, I like, if I can stand like that, right, that's probably Johnny Campbell too. Find out. Who wrote that line? That's cool. Okay, let me figure out something. I'm gonna watch this. Watch this. See? I'm liking this. See how the guy's standing? Oh yeah, see that? You're getting me all fired up. See, I like, if I can stand like that, right, that's probably Johnny Campbell too. Okay, see how the guy's standing? Oh yeah, see that? You're getting me all fired up. See, I like, if I can stand like that, right, that's probably Johnny Campbell too. Okay, see how the guy's standing? Okay. Hold on, guys. Let me. Turn this off here. Okay. All right. So I'm back here. Sorry. So there you go. Hero shots. Yeah. But you know, watching that video, I love how the guys in motocross gear, they're pushing a message here, you know. And if it was more of an adventure bike, the guy would be wearing adventure gear. So are they saying that this thing's more lighter and nimble, where it's like the ultimate off-road bike, you know? And if that's the case, then that's pretty badass. And we could see this bike could be this could be legendary, you know? Yeah, it could be Johnny Campbell on that, you know? I'm not sure. I'll have to send him an email and kind of get his background on it. But I'll be waiting, you know? And if that bike comes out, I'll lose half my followers, you know. I'll lose half of you guys when I sell my 650, which I already tried selling 2 years ago, but I kept it. But we'll have to see. So anyways, there you guys go. Tomorrow, 6 a.m., High Sierra Diaries, Lake Tahoe. And I hope you guys enjoy that. Thanks for all the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed. I know the social media landscape is getting more tougher to get messages to followers, and that's why I'm on YouTube, because they're still fair, and if you're subscribed, you'll see my content. Unlike Instagram and Facebook are just complete disasters. And hopefully there's one day, I hope there's a day I can just cut off Instagram and just be on YouTube. But so anyways, cool. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.